What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video. This is the series where we take a little look over in Korea at what is doing a ton better since the patch and what is really strong right now. We're also going to tag on an extra this time looking at the best performer in each role. But like this video if you did, dislike it if you didn't, but let me know who you expect to suddenly do a lot better this patch. Remember as well, we look at Korea at the start of each patch because they normally discover newer things quicker, they play more, they theorycraft more than we do, and I just kind of find it interesting. Just before we get started, the winners of the giveaway are in the description, but I kind of underestimated honestly how many of you would enter, so I've got another one this month, 2 SteelSeries headsets plus 8 $10 RP cards to give away. You can enter that below, plus SteelSeries actually have their own massive giveaway which you can also enter to win a whole setup. It's kind of crazy honestly. Anyway, links are down below for both of them. Now the first one in this video is Leona. Kind of surprising actually, like almost came out of nowhere really. On the PvE there are some changes to her as well, so she'll likely become a power pick over the next few patches. She's already strong, getting a few tweaks here and there, and then an influx of players actually trying her out. The thing is, healing supports are very squishy, right? The way to beat them is to actually kill them, and you can't really get much better than Leona to do that as a kill lane. She punishes bad positioning in every single elo, she's tanky and supplies a ton of damage, and part of it is definitely the other support picks, so like Soraka, Nami, Zyra, Janna, all low health and can be burst down. Part of it is also just a synergy with AD carries though. If you think about it, like Ezreal is very popular, right? You stun into his ultimate, you can't really miss it. Jhin is the same thing, stun into a guaranteed route into ultimate, crazy damage. Caitlyn stun into a guaranteed trap, a ton of damage now, he maxed that as well. Even Ashe, you stun into arrow, Jinx stun into chompers, like all of these utility AD carries are coming in more. The synergy is so good and it makes her a ton better without Leona actually being any different. She also does have a decent team fight impact to be honest, like she can engage fights from range, catch people with her ultimate and snowball a game. You can actually control it properly. I think she's definitely one of the best carry supports you can play right now, especially at lower ranks, and we all know that Korea just loves to carry games. So the next one is Jhin. Now I know not really like new this patch I guess, but he's just like a monster in Korea right now. The only more popular AD is Ezreal, and Koreans have a major fetish for him, so he's always played the most. Now his win rate has been pretty decent, but this patch has just kind of exploded, higher than Ashe now, and even though Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge got buffed, it's still going to be the armor pen build. He's being played a lot in the LCK, like the Korean version of the LCS, which just makes him more popular too when they see their favorite players playing him. It's actually very weird though, because normally win rates go down with how popular a champion is. Like people who aren't as good as him are going to play him, but actually with Jhin, his win rate has jumped up. That is when you know they are super strong. In my opinion, his laning phase is disgusting because of two things. The first one is just pushing power. You push and poke over and over. It's very hard to deal with, something most AD carries actually just can't cope with right now. The second thing is a stupid trade that he can actually do, which is something I really don't like. So you get a normal trade-off, right? You chunk himself, the enemy AD, to about half, then he backs off, he ults and kills them or gets them even lower. There is very little counterplay to that at all actually. You take an even trade, which is fine, but then he runs away and finishes you off. The build is also a major issue at the moment because it's heavy AD and armor pen, which is very good early. Now the problem is with Jhin's passive, like how that works, that early kind of power also scales into an amazing late game. There is literally no cost for building armor pen and being stronger early with Jhin. Like you get a rapid fire and Infinity Edge later into the game to round it out, and you're going to be a late game monster. To be honest, it's kind of like the Korean Lucian all over again. Like with Jhin, you can team fight to catch people, root, kill them from really far away, and your crits are still going to hurt with autos. Just super strong. Wukong is our third pick, normally one of the most underrated champions I think actually, but suddenly a jump in win rate and popularity, especially at bronze, silver and gold. I'm talking like top 5 by the way out of every single champion, at least top 10 really, with decent numbers of games played as well. Ghostblade and Black Cleaver is kind of an overpowered combination, we already know that, but finally not just on an AD carry. Wukong really abuses it. Your ultimate applies the Black Cleaver stacks, Ghostblade provides AD and armor pen. It's just really good. And the funny thing actually is kind of like basically the same as Jhin. Like the more mortis is also very common. You stack AD, armor pen to kill people early and abuse his ult. Top lane matchups are getting a bit better for him. Aurelia's down a little bit, Swain as well, which kind of opens up more room for other carries. Like Yasuo and Trundle are very popular and he does really well versus both. Yasuo, you can kind of just outburst him and punish his early weak game I guess, and also for Trundle you don't build anything tanky really. There's no stats for Trundle to steal. I think he's one of these champions that you have to kind of play around to win. Like you keep vision, right? You outlast his ultimate, you just kind of kite away, but especially at lower ranks that is harder to do and people don't respect it. They don't protect the AD carry, which he can one-shot. He's being played literally just like as a carry top or jungle, like all about damage and how much he can do in a short space of time. Koreans love to carry through damage, especially at lower ranks, and this might be a really decent pocket pick to surprise people with and snatch a few wins. Next up is Soraka, a massive jump in popularity and win rate after this patch, and part of it is going to be the Blitzcrank nerfs. Blitz was probably the easiest way to to beat her, to be honest. The other part is the new healing items are just so good on her. They stack as well, by the way, which I'll probably make a video about because it's ridiculous, but overall it's just very dumb with wind speakers. The good thing now is we have like these immobile AD carries. You're going to help these more average ADs in the lane phase. You can let them farm, trade, cover up their weaknesses, and it's just kind of hard to play against, to be honest. You kind of have to focus her if you want to beat her, but if you do, the AD carry is going to free hit you, so that's really hard to deal with. The meta has also shifted, which is in her favor, so more damage everywhere now, jungle, top especially, and actually that's a good thing for Soraka. If you can actually keep someone alive through their damage, then the diver is going to die quite fast afterwards. Like, you're not really as good in a tank meta, in my opinion, less damage flying around. You're much better in a carry meta. At higher ranks, you're still decent, but not the most amazing. People can kind of play around it a little bit better. This is one where at lower ranks, she has spiked up a chunk. She definitely isn't abused as much and is a bigger problem to deal with. As a kind of prediction, the more people figure out how good wind speakers plus like Crucible and Sensor are, the more Soraka we're going to see and the more of a pain she's going to become again. The funny thing is really though, like Leona is there ready to crap on her when she does come back up. So in those matchups, she's going to cry a little bit, but against any other healing matchup or especially against a Karma, she will just negate anything they can do. Now Quinn is one that kind of actually makes a bit of sense, to be honest. I kind of expected her to come back up a little bit, but it's surprising how well she's doing at every single elo. She has his second highest win rate top lane at the moment in higher ranks, floating around the top 10 kind of at lower ones, which is pretty decent still. There are two things, okay, so she bums certain matchups completely, and the chaos style of roaming is really good in season 6. So for the matchup stuff, with Echo, Darius, Trundle, Vlad, and Alawi, statistically she crushes these guys so hard and by a very big margin. Like Alawi is 60% win rate for the Quinn on average. She can hold her own in others as well, but she's not particularly favored. The point is you have a natural big advantage here to snowball with. The chaos style thing I mentioned is where you get that lead that we have now and you just run around and dumpster everyone with that early damage. You're gonna roam to mid, you roam to bot, we can get there before people know you're missing, and suddenly like they can't really do anything. You have really solid base damage, you abuse a Ghostblade and Dustblade build that is very popular over there right now, which is like pure assassin. Basically we're playing her a lot like a Zed or something, but with a flying bird around us. Like we get a lead early, we get a few items, and we just crap on everyone as early as possible. We do have to keep in mind a few things. So win rate is drastically better before 30 minutes into the game. You kind of want to end as early as you can, and you are a little bit matchup dependent, maybe more of a counter pick. You're going to abuse these strong items right now, so every time you pick one up you need to abuse the power spike you get, and lane phase does mean a lot more, so don't play it if you want to stay safe, and play safe, play to crush someone and get ahead. Fiddlesticks is someone we haven't really talked about for a while, but now is suddenly a lot better, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure why. I get why he's good, okay, I get why he could be a bit better, but last patch and this patch he's suddenly wrecking people again. Remember, Korea's version of Fiddle is a little bit different to ours. It's more about cheese ganks and stuff. You get Moby Boots, plus the passive is so fast with your ultimate. Also, you just like get behind them, I guess, and fear like a madman. Less aggressive junglers is going to help for sure, like less niddly, I guess, more farm time, and you're less likely to get pooped on. You can probably outdrain most meta junglers, to be honest. You really do have so much damage though with semi-defensive items, like Abyssal and Zhonya's for example. You're hard to kill, but you're still crapping on people. You have the fear utility, you have the drain to stay alive. Drain even makes objectives a piece of cake to solo, to be honest, which is really good. And at lower ranks, it does make sense that people don't respect it. The rule is really that you never fight if you can't see Fiddle. People don't know, they don't care though, I guess. But at higher ranks, they do know that. But he is still winning a lot more games now, so I don't know. I don't get it, to be honest. I just don't. He should be good, but it feels like the surprise factor that made him OP has kind of gone now, and he should have settled down a little bit. The gank heavy style in career is definitely the way to go. Be a pain in the ass, get good ultimates off, and you'll do a lot. Honestly, you are a very strong carry jungler at the moment who can crush early, snowball, but also carry late, which is kind of rare. Kog'Maw is another pick that is crushing it right now and is a lot better recently. The Lulu changes are going to help. They're pretty massive and people have been abusing that. It's also kind of just the healing and shield items in general. Like Kog'Maw really wants someone to keep him alive so he can stand there and just right click people. You have to take Kog'Maw with a pinch of salt whenever you talk about career, because I've said before, there are a lot of people who script on Kog'Maw in career, but there are obviously a lot who don't as well. It partly is just the meta. Like Lucian is now kind of less popular, so is Misfortune. It's an easier lane, less punishing, I guess. We can farm and we can get to these kind of item breakpoints easier. Actually looking it up, Ezreal, Lucian, Caitlyn and Vayne are all relatively easy matchups. Like we have a favored win rate in those. We just output way more damage. The problem is like Jhin, Sivir and Ashe are really not kind of fun for Kog'Maw. They punish our lack of mobility really hard. In my opinion, this is probably a case of inserting certain matchups, it's almost like a free win now, actually, like with how good he is. But if you're good with him, you can still win the harder ones. He is better at high elo, even in career, but with a pre-made support, you can definitely play Kog at lower and still stomp people. All right, so I did say that we'd look at the best champion each role this time as well, just to kind of go over them very quickly, give you an idea of what is really dominating, I guess, in career. For the top lane, it's going to be Malzahar. For the jungle, Hecarim. Mid, probably Malzahar again, to be honest, but if we pick something different, maybe Victor. AD carry, Jhin, and support would be Blitzcrank. Even after the nerfs as well in career, like they still love their Blitzcrank. I don't think any of these are actually that uncommon, to be honest. Like Malzahar is very strong at the moment, so is Victor, so is Hecarim. Like these guys are all dominating over here, and I think actually like they'll become a lot more popular this patch in our regions. So that wraps up this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the kind of newish format, I guess, and remember to enter both of the giveaways. They're going to be down in the description below. But that's all for this video, so I'll leave you with the robots.